Hey everyone, thank you for watching. I believe that if this video showed up on your feed, that it's not a coincidence. And I feel like just God is trying to speak to you and get your attention, and He's using me to convey that message to you. I literally just picked up my phone and started recording, so I have no idea what this message is going to be about, but I'm just on a walk right now, and look where I'm at. It is so beautiful out here. Like, I know it's like snowing and it's winter time, and you know, a lot of times we look at winter and it can kind of just be depressing, especially if you live in a really cold place where I'm at and it snows. And I don't know, some of you might like the winter, but and a lot of times winter, it gets dark earlier, it's cold, and yeah, I feel like a lot of times we just kind of want to snuggle up and not really do much in the winter time, and it can be kind of unmotivating, but there's beauty in everything, in every season of life. And I know a lot of times the winter season can be seen as a season of just my phone fell. Thanks for bearing with me. My phone keeps falling. Yesterday my phone fell in the toilet. If you want to hear that story, watch yesterday's video. But anyway, back to the point at hand, and forgive me for my heavy breathing. I literally have not walked in a while, but we're out here today getting cardio. This isn't going to be a post gym yet because I didn't go to the gym today. I just kind of felt motivated to come on here today and just speak on my walk. And I actually didn't have a walk planned for today. I just kind of was just sitting with God and praying, and I felt led to come out here on a walk. And trust me guys, I don't like walking in general because I do powerlifting, and I think cardio is not really fun, but I do connect a lot with God through nature. And I wanted this video to kind of be about talking about God today. And back to the point at hand about seasons of our life. I know the winter season can look tough, but look at all this beauty. Like, I am literally alone in nature right now, having the time of my life, and I feel like this is really where I feel the closest to God, is out here in nature, and where I feel like even if I'm not saying anything in my prayers, like, I feel Him the most. And even though it's the winter time, there's still beauty that you can find in every season. And I think that's akin to the seasons of our lives, where if you're going through a season right now where you're struggling and it feels like the winter, I feel like even through that season, you can still find beauty where you're at. And I know it could be tough because I've been there, and I still kind of am going through those times where things just feel like tough and everything feels like everything's just coming down at once. But God wants to speak to you and tell you that He's there with you through every season of your life. You know, He's good. He's there with you through the good times and through the bad times. And honestly, He just wants to grow closer to you. He just wants to develop a deeper relationship with you through every season. And He's always there, even if you don't see it or you don't perceive it. I know sometimes I was just going through a season of my life where I feel like, kind of now, I feel like I don't hear God as closely as I have in the past. And I kind of feel disconnected. And that's kind of the point of this walk today. Like, I don't know. I was just feeling like I wasn't as connected as I used to be, or I look around, I might see people in my life, or if I go to church, I see people that just feel or like look on the surface like they're so close to God. And sometimes I look at that and I'm like, why don't I feel that sometimes? And this is just a reminder for you, for anyone that might be going through the same struggle or feel like they're on the same boat, that God hasn't left you. God is still close to you. And quite frankly, he probably is more close to you right now than you can even ever imagine. Hello. Hello. Even if it's hard to see that, like a lot of times when we feel so disconnected, he is actually close to us, closest than we can ever really imagine. So back to the point at hand. I know I'm passing people right now, so forgive me, and I'm leaving these videos unedited, so just bear with me. Hello. Yes, so back to what I was saying. Yeah, so a lot of times when we find it hard to hear God's voice, or we feel disconnected, God has actually wants us to be closer to him and wants us to seek him more. And you just gotta find like what works for you the most. Like, even if you haven't figured that out yet, or you might not even believe in God, or you might not have a close relationship with God, just knowing that the creator of all of this, literally look where I'm at right now. Like, this was made by the most perfect and wonderful creator. And like, he created you and he wants to have a close relationship with you. Like, I know sometimes when we hear God, and I don't know your past experiences with God or talk about God, or if you even believe in God, but just knowing that the creator of everything, like literally, look at this tree right now. This is kind of like a withered tree or a bush because it's winter time, so there's no leaves on it. But literally, look how intricately designed everything is. Like, if we come over here and we look at this tree right here, every little spot on this tree was perfectly designed by God. And you watching right now on this screen, God designed you perfectly, exactly the way that he intended for you to be. And you are beautiful just the way you are. I know it might sound cheesy, but you are literally created in the perfect image of God. And that creator that created you created those birds chirping right now, and this beautiful sky, and the beautiful sun that comes out every day. It is out all the time. He created you and he wants to have a relationship with you. And I know that might be difficult to like kind of grasp our heads around, because a lot of times, because we can't see God, like we feel like it's so far off from that. But he is actually closer to you than you can even imagine. Even those times and those seasons that you feel like he's not answering your prayers, or you feel like he's not close to you, or those nights that you're crying and you're still worshiping God, or those nights that you even turn your back on God, or are angry and questioning him, no matter what emotions you're feeling, just know that God hears you and he's close to you, even if you're not seeing it right now. Guys, the amount of times that I've prayed and I've been through things where I just felt so alone, like just knowing that God still loves me, God still created me for who I am, perfectly in his image for what he's called me to do. And the same thing with you. And the fact that all these trees, all these flowers, all these birds and animals that he created, he loves you, and he loves you more than you can ever imagine. And I just hope this can be some sort of encouragement for anyone that might be going through your winter season right now, and the snow is coming down, and I'm speaking figuratively here now, or it could be literally where you're at, literally snowing, but you feel out of breath walking up these long snowy hills like I am right now. And you might just feel so alone. Just know that God is with you. God is close, and he wants you to come to him. Like, I know it can be hard to kind of trust God sometimes and want to spend time with God, especially if we feel like he's not close. Like, it kind of feels like our efforts can be useless sometimes, especially if you've had specific prayers that you've been praying for so long and it seems like God's just not answering you. Like, just knowing that ultimately God wants to have a close, intimate relationship with you, and he wants to spend time with you even if you don't know what to pray about. Like, right now I've been going through a season where I just don't know what to pray. Like, I'll sit down and I'll go to journal, and I just literally cannot articulate like what I want to pray about, and I can't articulate my thoughts. And that's why I think these videos are helpful, and I hope they're helpful for you, because these videos are more so for me to kind of get out my thoughts, and if it can encourage or help at least one person out there, that's really cool. And that just shows the grace and the goodness of God if one of you can also relate as well. But even like for me, you have to just find some way that you feel that you can connect spiritually to this world. Like for me, I love being out in nature, and that's why it can be hard sometimes in the winter because it's cold out where I'm at and there's not really many places to walk. But that's where I feel God the most. And you got to find areas where you feel like you connect with God. And like, even if you don't say anything, even if you're not thinking anything, just being present in that space is enough for him. Like, if you intentionally make time to be with him, like, that is more than enough. And even on those times that we ignore him or we don't make space for him, like, he's still there for us and he still cares about us. And that is more than enough for him. So I'm out here right now in the freezing cold. I hear like water running, which is really pretty. But I just hope this can be some form of encouragement and reminder to anyone that might need it. Yeah, like for now, when I started going on this walk, I really had nothing in my mind to pray about. Like, I just told God, I'm like, I just want to spend time with you. And I just went on a walk and I was just present. Like, if I just shut my brain off, shut my mind off, and just listen to what's around me, like, I feel God so closely. And even there have been times where I have went on these walks and I didn't feel God. And just a reminder that he still is there. Even if we don't believe it, he still loves us. And yeah. Ooh, I almost fell. But yeah, look where I'm at right now. Even though there's no like, I almost slipped again, guys. Can you believe that? I'm gonna sit on this tree stump to catch my breath. You get my butt wet. Look at it. It's like, there we go. Who cares? It'll dry. My butt's gonna be wet. But anyway, I just want to continue talking about too, like, the importance of just connecting with God, and how also just being in nature can help you connect with God, because for me, that's where I feel him the most. And you guys might feel him in different spots. You just have to find that point that works for you. Like, you might, if you're an artist, you might feel him through painting and your artwork. You might see him through music, or even like reading or being in the word, or even writing and journaling. Like, if you're having a tough time right now, like finding out how to be present with God, or finding ways to connect with God, and you just don't know, like, start with the desires in your heart. Like, just try to think about a hobby or something that you just feel really passionate about, and like something that you feel just connects you spiritually. Like, where do you feel most alive? Like, I don't know what that is for you. Like, you might know. Like, I gave a few examples, like music, writing, reading, artwork, running, working out, like me, or being in nature. Like, God created us as such unique beings, and he speaks to us in all different ways and wants to connect with us in all different ways. But ultimately, the same thing remains, is that he just wants a relationship with you. He just wants to spend time with you. And you just have to discover those spaces that you feel most connected to the world spiritually, and God, or whatever you believe in. But ultimately, Source, the Creator, just wants a deeper relationship with you. And you just have to find those spaces. And for me, being out here is really cool. And about a year ago, I decided to just go out on walks or runs where I don't have my headphones in, because I was like so distracted by the world and everything around me. And I decided to take that out. Hello. And once I did, I realized I also felt extremely connected to Source by doing that. Because a lot of times we have so many distractions in this world, and I think that's kind of like the world and the society we live in, is we just have so many distractions, and that's just taking away from our spiritual beings, like what our soul needs at a deeper purpose, at a deeper level. And you just have to find areas in your life, places, people, things that may just be distracting you, and that just might be the noise over what God is trying to tell you, or the ways God is trying to connect with you. So for me, I really felt God through nature and just being alone and present. And I was distracted with a million different things, with music. Like, anytime I went on a walk, especially when I was in class or just walking to class, I would have my headphones in, and that was just super distracting. And it wasn't until I took them out, and I was hearing the things around me. I was hearing birds, I was hearing nature, and I never felt more connected with the world than when I removed those distractions. So God can also be telling you to just find areas or things that may be distracting you or holding you back from that deeper relationship. And I'm not saying like never listen to music or never listen to your headphones, like if you're in a similar boat to me, or never talking to those people or never doing those things, but like just think, like, is there anything in your life right now that's just hindering you from being in a deeper relationship with God? And if you can just recognize those things, and maybe like taking, even if it's like a 5-minute break from that, and seeing like in those 5 minutes, Can I truly be present? Can I truly be silent with God and just see where it takes you? And I'll be honest, God might not answer right away. You might literally feel nothing. Like, I remember the first time, because I love music, and I used to always just distract myself with music or a YouTube video, because I also love YouTube. So whenever I was eating, whenever I was walking to class, whenever I was just on a walk in a park, I would have either a YouTube video up that I was watching or music, and I just felt so disconnected. Like, I wasn't even able to hear my own thoughts. And like, how am I supposed to be connected with just creation? Like, hear this right now. Just pause with me. Do you hear that? Do you hear the water running? Like, water represents life. It's so beautiful that, like, even in the wintertime and through this storm, we still have water and just the beauty of earth right here at our disposal. Like, hear this right now. Like, this is so peaceful. But anyway, I'm kind of going off on a tangent. But what I mean by that is, like, if we can just try to put away the distractions and make intentional space for God, like, that can really be a step towards a closer relationship with Him. If you're looking for a deeper relationship with God, with Source. And like I said, He might not answer right away, and it could be frustrating. Like, when I first decided to take my headphones and put them away, I felt so bored on my walks. I was like, what am I doing? Like, I just want to listen to music right now. But then I had like a realization where I just heard the birds and I heard the things around me, and I just felt so alive and connected. Even though I wasn't praying anything specifically, like, I just felt God. And this is just an important reminder. I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you're watching, especially if you're watching this far, like, God really wants to speak to you, and I believe. And He's just telling you He wants to just spend time with you. Like, you don't need to be structured. You don't need to have a specific time that you pray. You don't need to have a specific verse that you read in the Bible. You don't need to do anything. Well, first of all, like, you need to know too, like, you don't need to do anything for God to love you. Like, if you are a child of God, like, He loves you just the way you are, and His grace is so wonderful and so astounding that we didn't do anything to deserve His love, but He still loves us. Like, if you're a child of God, He still loves you, but He does want a deeper relationship with you, and you can do that through removing those distractions and just being still with Him. Even if you have nothing to pray about, you might be like me and have a million thoughts in your mind and not know where to start, or even feel like you don't have anything to pray about or talk about. And that's okay. He just wants to spend time with you. Even if it's just going on a walk or just going and sitting outside your house for 2 minutes. I don't know where you're at. It might be super cold where you're at, but just sitting outside and like looking at the sky or looking at the stars or listening to the birds, or like any way that you connect to God. Like, if you decide to paint or create music, whatever it is that you can do to be closer to Him is enough. And I think a lot of times a way to find that too is, where are we creating? I think in a world where we're producers of so many things and consumers of so many things, like, think about the products that, you know, the world wants us to buy, and the videos that, and TV and just media and distractions that the world wants to get us away from our deeper soul level. Like, when we're in those states of consumption, it's really hard to feel like we're living in our purpose or feel close to God, because we're in a state of consumption rather than producing. And like, just find areas of your life where you can produce, or where you feel most creative, or you feel most spiritually alive, and just try to lean into that space more and just see what God has for you. Even if it feels like the efforts that you're doing are for nothing. Like, for me, like, creating these YouTube videos, Like, even though I don't know what I'm going to talk about half the time, or I might not have the perfect lighting, or these videos are unedited and I might not know what to talk about, like, I feel really alive and feel like I have a purpose making videos. And even if no one watches it, I still feel connected. I still feel close to God by doing that. And just being out here, and even if it just feels like you're not getting anything out of it, because think about, feeling is different oftentimes from like an act of obedience to God. And like, we might not like feel like, I don't know if anyone has had like spiritual experiences before where you've really felt God strongly. And I think a lot of times we may be so caught up in looking for those like deep feelings, when sometimes we just have to just ask God to come closer to our hearts, even if we don't feel his presence. Just knowing and trusting that he's there, even when we don't feel him, because that's what faith is ultimately. Like, faith is just a trust in what may be unseen. And he just wants you to have faith that he's with you and that he loves you and he wants to be close to you. And yeah, thanks for listening. Especially if you're watching this far, I truly believe that God is trying to tell you, because I didn't put any hashtags, no description, just the title on this video, and whoever it's meant to reach, it will reach. And thank you for being here if you are. I appreciate you putting up with, heavy breathing and me almost falling like 5 times, and the people I've passed, which there's more people out here than there usually is, but look at how beautiful it is. It's just so wonderful being out here, and I'm so grateful to have had this time to just spend with you guys and with God. And I honestly feel like when I'm talking to the camera here and I'm spending time with you guys, I feel like I'm spending time with God as well. And I just really appreciate you guys for watching and just taking the time out of your day to listen to me yap. I know I'll label this a post-gym yap, but we didn't go to the gym today, but we're going to be back tomorrow. And I just felt really led to make this video, and I hope it can just reach someone. So yeah, just to recap, just trying to remove distractions and finding spaces in our life where we feel most connected to source, even the times that we don't feel connected to God, like areas that we feel creative in, or we feel like we're producing. Or just taking a minute out of your day where you just sit with yourself, completely distraction free, and just being present is ultimately what it is, because God just wants a relationship with you, and he just wants to be present with you because God loves you and I love you as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Peace.